looked at the film from last week, how much of it was fixable for you?
I almost think all of it was fixable. I think I just kind of slowing down my mentality and being able to see things out there and just relaxing while I'm in the pocket is going to really calm my feet down and be able to see things. And then also just having that screw it mentality of that I'm just going to sling it, throw it to guys that are open, and knowing that sometimes guys aren't going to be perfectly open and I have to throw them open as well. So just giving those guys those opportunities to make plays.
Could you walk me through the play on the first drive? You had Sam in the end zone and it looked like he was just so open.
Yeah, no, he was so open. It was one of those things. My eyes got really big. Ball just kind of slipped out of my hands a little bit, and I wasn't able to finish the throw. So if I could redo that one, I would do that one over 100 times out of 100. And I've made that throw a million times in practice, and I just got to go out there and play loose.
Anything you say to Sam after you miss him like that?
I did give him a good sorry because that was been his first touchdown, my first touchdown, and it would have been an exciting way to start out the season.
Just opening up the downfield passing game, you just talked about it, but is it more mental than physical, and what is it different between Albany and Iowa State with downfield passing?
Yeah, one against Albany, when we were kind of going back watching the film, they did do a couple things that were a little bit different than we were expecting, and they got lucky on some calls when we were trying to get those downfield shots called. They ended up running a post safety defense trying to protect those posts, and basically made us limit us and throw checkdowns when we wanted to call those shots. But now this week, again, they play soft. They're back there. They drop 8 guys. So really being selective of when we're going to take those shots. We got to be able to run the ball first to make those guys come down and stop the run, so then we can eventually hit the run. But hit the passes over top. But it all starts with the run game this week.
Mark, you've played and won a lot of big games. You've had a lot of bounce back performances. Kind of take me through the process of trying to bounce back. Is it staying true to the process? Is it having conversations with coaches? Is it just doing a self-mental evaluation? But how have you kind of come back throughout your career when you need to bounce back?
Yeah, I think it just starts with getting back into the film room and kind of understanding where those things were lacking throughout the week. Or throughout the game, the last game. And one thing that I like doing on that Monday when we first get back is kind of go back and go through all the throws that I missed. Because I've made a lot of those throws millions of times. And I talked with Coach Ferentz about it, and he's like, hey, you've made those throws. Just go out there and do it. There's nothing else you got to think about. Just go out there and just do it out there. So just going out there on practice and working on those throws with the guys, and then heading into next week, just having that confidence that I am the player that I am. I've made all those throws in the field. Just be who I am, and I can make those.
Obviously, you want a lot of those plays back, but is there a part of you that kind of sees the silver lining of, when you guys really kind of leaned on the rush game, a lot of the stuff in the passing side of the playbook is not on tape for Iowa State to see?
Yeah, and at that point, when you start running the ball in the second half, when we started running the ball a lot more in the second half, and we're getting 10 yards a carry, it's kind of hard to not go away from that. We got great guys up front, and if you can get 10 yards of carry, that's a first down every play. So I'm not mad about it. It's a team game in the end of it, and if we're running the ball that well, we're just going to keep running it.
I missed the rivalry talk. What have your teammates told you about this?
Well, a lot of guys, this is always one of the biggest rivalries, and just always being an in-state rivalry, and growing up, this was always the one that everyone was always looking forward to, and a lot of guys were looking forward to it this week. I didn't know much about the Cy-Hawk game going into this, coming into Iowa, but we've learned a lot about it, and the intensity and the workup of practice has been a lot more this week than it has been, or at least in the summer and everything else. So
you've got 8 quarters of film on Iowa State. Just how much does it help early in the season, especially just having extra film to look at, extra reps from you?
Yeah, it's great because, obviously last week going into Albany, we didn't really know exactly what they're going to run. They obviously have some things from last year, but there's always going to be a couple of little wrinkles that they're going to throw in there. So it's nice to have 2 games, especially a tough rivalry game for them where they had to show what they had, and being able to win that game for them, or having them win that game and really kind of show what they had is going to help us kind of see what they're going to end up running against us. And Kansas State kind of does a lot of similar things that we do as well in the pass game and the run game. So seeing how they attacked it and where they were successful at, we're going to try and do that same thing.
Did your dad give you any pointers about winning in Jack tries?
No, he did not.
Coach Ruggiero, his role is advanced scouting. He's got the 8 quarters to look at too. Have you already seen his impact on looking ahead and getting you guys prepped?
Yeah, and he's done a great job of that. And one thing that he's been really helping me with is just making different cut-ups for me to watch throughout the week. And having those cut-ups has really kind of helped me see what they're going to be running, because they have so many different looks. They show things differently. and being able to see that and kind of already think through what the plays are going to be, what we're going to be running against, those kind of things has been really helpful.
Coach Ferentz or Coach Lester kind of told you that maybe help you relax coming out of the gate this week?
One thing is just they kind of just keep telling me, like, be the player that you are. You've made the throws a million times. You've played in a lot of big games. You've won the Walter Payton Award. You've been the best player in the country. Just go out there and do it, and just go dominate where you're at, and don't worry about anything else. Just be confident with who you are, and just go out there and dominate.
Does it help?
I think it has. I mean, this past couple of practices, I felt like I've had some really good practices throwing the ball, just letting it loose and not really thinking about anything else other than just throwing right to my target, extension, balance, and take a breath before each play.
So was South Dakota or North Dakota State the big rivalry game?
They're just asking me. Trick question. But I always say North Dakota State, and it was always a fun game whenever we played there. It's a super loud stadium in there, just being compact, and it was indoors, so they always had the sound going up even more, and those games are always the most fun. It's always how it is with rivalry games, and each game always ends up being close. I think Coach Ferentz was saying, I think the past 5 or 6 years, it's been 5-point spread in these games in total, so it's always been a one-score game. So we always got to go in there, be able to execute, and do our thing.
Do you think you'll need to use your legs quite a bit this week?
Yeah, it'll definitely be part of it. I mean, I think that's just part of our offense is going to be me being able to run the ball when we need to. And then, I mean, whether it's third downs, fourth downs, or when they are dropping 8, we have 3 guys rushing, or they have 3 guys rushing. So I'm going to have to make plays on my feet, and it's going to be a big aspect of the game.
You said on media day that you like to almost get hit to kind of get all the way into the game. I guess, where did that start?
I think it kind of just is just the aspect of being a quarterback a little bit, because you go through all spring, go through all summer of not getting hit at all in practice. I mean, everyone tries to protect the quarterback. There's only so many on the team, so making sure that you kind of get those hits and get those like feelings of like, okay, like we're playing football again. Like I'm not scared to get hit. It's a big aspect, I think, of just being a quarterback in general.
From everything you've seen in film so far, what are you guys going to stress the most during practice to prep for Iowa State?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is I just got to be able to check it down when we need to. I mean, these guys, again, like to play soft, but they're – when I say play soft, the coverages are soft. They get depth. They get a lot of depth, so they're trying to protect those throws, those deeper throws, those intermediate throws. So making sure that we're checking it down when we need to and letting our guys make plays in that side of things. But then also when we start checking those balls down, we're going to start pulling those linebackers so we can't hit those big throws. So it all starts with just taking what they're giving us.
Their nose tackles really disruptive. What's the challenge presented by him?
Shoot, that's a good question for more of the O-line right now. But I trust 100% in what Logan Jones is doing. I mean, he's one of the best centers in the country. So, I mean, we're going to do what we can and possibly double team him a couple times throughout the game. But really just trust those boys up front to do their job.
You guys were really good on third down the other day. I guess that was probably overlooked when we talked to you. Is that something that you guys are pretty happy with when we look back at film? And you were 2 for 2 on fourth.
Yeah, I think it was 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
3 for 3, yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that.
But it was a great aspect, and that was one of the things we focused on this spring, was to really just dominate those third downs, making sure that we're staying on the field as long as possible. Because when we're on the field longer, we give our defense a longer time to get a break, and when our defense is healthy and have that break, I mean, they're one of the best defenses in the country and are going to stop a lot of teams. So as long as we can keep staying on the field, putting stress on the other team's defense, it's going to make it a lot harder for them.
We saw a tush-push-ish type of thing from you guys a few times.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Whenever we're getting short yardage, it's almost impossible to stop. I mean, you saw the Eagles do it all the time last year. I think they had like a 98% successful rate. So whenever we get into opportunities like that, we're going to keep doing it.
I assume your dad talks more about the Iowa State game when he was at Drake than the Iowa game?
Yeah, he definitely does, because that's the one game I think they won, right?
They won that one.
They won that one against Iowa State. They did not win against Iowa.
The Iowa game did not end.
No,
but that was
didn't.
the number 1 ranked team in the country, too.
It was it at that point?
I don't know if they were at that point. They went on to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But yeah, he talks about it a little bit. I haven't talked to him at all this week, but I'm sure once I talk to him, he's going to mention it a lot.
How much was he influential on you becoming a quarterback?
To be honest, he was probably my biggest influence about just being a quarterback. And when I was younger, he kind of gave me my love for football. And he was my first offensive coordinator growing up. And I knew that I wanted to be a quarterback at that moment. And when they put a bunch of the guys over at quarterback, I kind of ended up being the quarterback on the team and just kind of just taking that and rode it all the way through.
Would you say against Albany, in terms of how much you were running and the hits you were taking, was that like on par with your college career, more or less? Like,
you know, with the designed runs, I would say that's pretty on par with my college career so far. And depending on the types of games and when we need it is the biggest thing. Obviously, when ended up running a couple that were out of empty as well. So, I mean, when teams are running out there, it makes it a lot harder for teams to defend against when you have that QB run. But in the passing game, I just got to be able to sometimes just trust my receivers a little bit more instead of just kind of looking to run as a second option and get to that second option and throw game more.
Kirk said in the postgame he doesn't want you running as much as you did at South Dakota. So is that cool with you?
Yes, yeah, 100%. You know, I gotta be able to sit there and deliver throws. One of the last games I played at South Dakota State, I think I ran 19 times. So I don't think we need to be doing that. We got some great running backs as well, and they're going to be able to make plays for us.
You ran a lot between the tackles too. When I watched you ran sometimes like a fullback.
Yeah, no, even I mean, this past week we had a couple of runs like that, and again, it's effective against teams just because they're not really accounting for the quarterback a lot on the defensive side. They're always accounting for the running back, all the receivers, tight ends. But just when you're able to make a play when I'm able to make a play with my feet, it makes the defense kind of think twice about what they're doing all the time.
the throw to Sam, that was a little short, but did you just not get your feet under you, or what do you feel?
Yeah, the ball kind of just slipped out on that one, to be honest. You know, I wish I could get that one back. I've made that throw 99 times out of 100, and that was the one time I didn't. But, you know, when we're going to get opportunities this week, we're going to make sure we get them.
I'm curious, you were 6 of your last 7 before you went out with the cramps. Were you a little frustrated because it seemed like you're finally getting things to go your way?
Yeah, I was definitely a little frustrated. And again, as I said after the game, I was a little disappointed with the kind of the start to the game. But once I was able to kind of just get settled in and understand, like, hey, when they're sinking like that, when they're running some different coverages, making sure that we're just getting it to our backs or getting it to our checkdowns and letting those guys make plays for us, it was going to be helpful. And that's kind of just when I settled in and ended up finishing the game strong.
Anything need to be different with your hydration this week to avoid it, or
again, I think it was kind of more of a lot of people always think it's always something about like the food or the water intake and everything, but sometimes it's just a nervous system thing. And when you already are so amped up and you're so excited for that first game, sometimes the nervous system just kind of shuts down on you. And it's happened for me for the past kind of 4 years with the first game, and I'm always ready to go for the second one.
Did you expect to be that nervous?
You know, I think it's also just the feeling of how much I want to succeed for everyone. I think it's more of a if I wasn't nervous, then I don't really like football almost, you know, kind of thing. So I think it's just how much I love and how much passion I have for the game, that I want to be successful for the guys around me and for the fans as well. So I think just putting that on me kind of made me want to play to the best of my ability, and that made it maybe hurt me a little bit in that game. But you know, I always kind of have those butterflies going into the game. You know, whenever you were having those, you have that passion and love for the game. That's just how it's always going to be. But just being able to play through that and play confident through that is the biggest thing.
I think last season, so you guys lost to North Dakota State during the regular season, then came back and beat South Dakota right after that. I think Jimmy Rogers had said you basically kind of took ownership for what you know, your performances, and then bounced back. Like, what do you remember about kind of how you were able to bounce back?
Yeah, I kind of make it almost very similar to how I played in that North Dakota State game to how I played in that UAlbany game. Is I was playing a little rushed and I was playing too fast with my feet. Me and Rodgers had to sit down after that game and just kind of talking about, like, hey, you just settle in, stay into the pocket, just keep moving up into the pocket. You're going to be able to make plays that way. And even when you're moving up into the pocket, sometimes those lanes are going to open up in front of you. Instead of running lateral, you're going to get downhill and make the defense try to make plays against you, and you're just going to open up throws in the back end as well. So just kind of being able to calm down, slow down everything, and make sure you're seeing it is going to make a big help, and that's what helped me in that South Dakota game after, and hopefully that's just going to help me this week.